Hello, everybody. I'm Lori Joe Vest. Welcome to this episode of Rev and Reach from Pop Speed Digital Marketing. I'm Lori Joe Vest, and I'm here with Kylie Metcalf. I am the founding partner of Pop Speed Digital, and Kylie was our first employee. We do social media, all kinds of digital marketing, websites, email marketing, etc. And we are here to share our secrets. How do we get ROI from our efforts for our clients? And there's always something new to talk about. So we're doing this every week to help you create and get better results from your efforts. So today we're all about organic content. It's just such a weird thing these days. There's a those of us who've been in social media for 16, 17 years, organic content used to rule. I mean, Kylie, we would put things out on Facebook and we would get so many views and it was just
Mhm.
basically a free for all. And you would, target different people and you could target actually with your organic posts. You could target a
Oh
state,
my
you
gosh, I
could
didn't know
target
that.
audiences. Yeah. And it didn't cost anything. And over the past, I don't know, I'd say maybe 10 years, maybe
Mhm.
8 years, all of the channels have decided that if you want to get reach, you're either going to have to have some type of a hook that really gets people going and go viral,
Mhm.
which is very rare and can never be predicted or expected. If someone ever says, make this go viral, slap them.
Right.
Because
Run.
that's not something you can do. We can never guarantee virility, I guess it's called. But organic content these days has a much different purpose and a significantly lower reach. So, Kylie, what have you seen?
Yeah, I think it's funny because a lot of the time you'll hear us say that organic content is dead. It's not dead in the sense that it doesn't have a place in your content mix. It's dead in the
Mhm.
sense that if you solely rely on organic content, you're not going to
Yep.
see ROI. So now, in contrast to what it used to be, that Lori took us through, organic content is it's not filler content, but in a way it is, right? It should still have an important purpose. It should still send an important message, and it should still be very intentional. But the point of organic content is to give something for your audience members to see and to look at, and a place
Yep.
to learn more about you once they get there by seeing your promoted content, right?
Yep.
So it's for those people that see your ads that really want to dive deeper and continue to get to know you better, right?
Mhm. And I do think too that, I mean, depends on the channel, depends on the client. There's so
Mhm.
many variables. And one example, we have a client, a global client that targets automotive engineers. And once in a while, we'll put something up that has, it's always a leader's face
Mhm.
or, people at a trade show. It's always smiling faces, but it'll get, maybe 700, 1,000 views, right?
Mhm.
Great. That's amazing. That's a great example of organic content getting some nice views.
Yeah.
However, the vast majority of the organic content that we share is 140,
Mhm.
200 views. And while that sounds really disappointing and yeah, it can be, it's also gives your new people that are new to you a place to land is what I would say.
Mhm.
So you'll see in some of the analytics that we share that there is an analytic called profile views. And that's when someone sees one of your social posts, goes, huh, who are these people? And they go
Mhm.
to your profile page. And that gives them the opportunity to go through and see all the things that you want them to know about that you have posted about on your page.
Exactly.
However, promoting your key content in one of two ways is critical. Either you take one or two posts a month that are really solid and totally serve your goals, and you push those with a lot of money, or you can put a little bit of money on several different posts.
Right.
That will elevate all of your views and
Mhm.
all of your engagement because what happens too when you promote, you can promote to specific demographics and
Right.
interests. So you will get higher engagement than you do on just standard, organic in most cases. Um, I know sometimes Kylie will use organic. results to choose the ad that we run. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yep, absolutely. So with a handful of our clients, when there's not something really timely going on, like if we're not, for our nonprofit clients, if we don't have an active fundraiser or we're not looking for current volunteers or donors or, whatever the case may be, what we do then is really look at what's performing best organically. And
Mhm,
that's a really good indicator that people are interested, right? And that organic engagement is an important signal that more people might be interested in it, but beyond who already follows us and engages with us.
mhm,
So that content, paying attention to your analytics in that sense, and what's really working organically, is a great benchmark for where to start when you're choosing promotions, whether for our nonprofits, if it's resources pertaining toward the cause that they fundraise for, and spreading the word more about that. And then in turn, that gets more people to their website, if assuming the ad is
mhm,
successful, and builds their audience. So it's really a win-win because you're giving something to your audience and people beyond your currently active audience, and potentially getting those new audience members in return. And the same goes really for any industry, right? Like if
mhm.
we'll probably every episode, excuse me, go back to our dental clients for at least
Yeah.
some reason or another. Um, but let's say, our calendar is full, right? Like what a great problem to have, but we're not actively looking to fill slots for free consultations in the month of June, right? What we might do is promote like 101 content about dental hygiene, and if we're engaging enough and it looks like people are really interested in the random tips that we're putting out, we'll promote that to a larger audience and continue in those slow times when it comes to promoted ads, to build
Mhm,
our audience for when we really are looking to fill our books up once again. And I
mhm,
think that, Lori, you said something earlier about um the how your organic content is like your landing base, like where you want the
mhm.
audience members to land. I think a really important thing to consider, particularly for people starting their social effort from scratch. Something that we'll say anytime we're building a brand new audience for a client is we cannot do promotions until you have that base, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
it's funny because we've worked with people in the past who are like, oh well, we just started posting, we have 2 posts on our Instagram, why are we not promoting yet? Well,
Oh,
because why don't we backlog the page a little bit? So because at that point the most important thing to do is build up your following, right?
yeah.
So why don't we build up your page, beef it up a bit with content that kind of explains who you are, what the goals are, what you want the
Mhm,
audience to take from the continued effort that we're going to keep working towards, and then start promoting so they really have the chance to get to know more about you, the brand, the organization, whatever the case may be. And then
mhm.
make more informed decisions, right? Because you want to make it as easy as possible for the consumer. So if they don't have to leave the platform to learn more, don't make them.
Yeah,
So
don't.
that organic content,
Yeah,
yeah, it's for those audience members that want to learn more but don't want to work that hard to do it.
yeah. Now, there is an exception to every rule, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about the exceptions.
Right.
The exceptions that I'm noticing lately are specifically related to Instagram Reels and
Mhm.
YouTube Shorts. Instagram Reels, when you're doing organic content, if you put stories or reels out, you will get a significant amount of people that are not your followers
Mhm.
as viewers of that content. So if you have the opportunity to put up shorter clips, video clips, and put them into those streams, the YouTube shorts or the, stories and reels on Instagram, those, if they're good enough, strong enough, appealing enough, can really shoot up your organic views and engagement.
Mhm.
But again, got to have strong content, got to have things that are going to really engage the typical audience on those channels in order to push up those views.
Mhm.
Because what pushes up views is likes, follows, all the things, all the engagement that people have with your content is
Mhm.
what tells the big bad algorithm to show your content to more people. So don't put up boring content
Yeah.
and your organic content will get more reach. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just kind of fact of life, right?
I think that's such a misconception too, is it's important to not get lazy with your organic content,
Yeah.
and it's really
Yep.
easy to do as promoted content and
Yeah.
paid content continues to grow and grow and grow, and how necessary it is for building a following, increasing reach, engagement, all of the things. um it can get really easy to overlook what it is you're pushing out organically, right? And
Mhm.
we get that, because it's not going to be necessarily shown to potentially hundreds of thousands of people with money behind it. But again, it goes back to that, that it's kind of the foundation of your page, right, and your image.
Yeah.
You want people to be interested, and you want to entice people once they land on your page to follow you, continue to learn more, interact, maybe comment, share it to somebody that they know that might be more interested in it. And by not being intentional and very very thoughtful with your organic content, you lose out on that, right? So you could have a
Mhm.
great ad that takes somebody to a page that's kind of clouded with boring or unnecessary or
Yeah.
lazy looking imagery and other content, and then the ad loses all of its spark. So you got the
Yeah.
click to the page,
Yep.
great. What did they do when they get there? And that's where ROI really comes from. So as tempting as it might be to put a ton of extra thought into your ads and a
Yeah.
lot less thought into your organic content, it's a balance. And it's a really
Yeah.
important balance, because of course, your best content is more than likely going to be your ads, right? What's
Mhm.
most engaging, what's most important for new people to know about you. But you want to maintain that brand image and kind of harness that loyalty from the new audience members by making it obvious that you care about what they think of your brand and your
Mhm.
page, because if you don't, why should they? Right.
Exactly, exactly. Well, and the thing is too, is a lot of the like campaigns that we run, and a like campaign is when you are using that ad to push people to like your page, to follow
Hmm.
you. And those people end up on your page.
Hmm.
So you want to make sure you don't look like you just got there.
Right.
We just showed up. We
Exactly.
have one post, and it's the post we use to entice you to go here. You want to have a solid base of good, strong content,
Right.
because that's what leads them to hit that like button, which then puts your content, your organic content, in their feed, or is more likely to do so.
Hmm.
I have to say, LinkedIn is a lot less algorithm driven.
Yeah.
There are things that you can do to help get your organic content from LinkedIn into people's streams, like setting up arrangements with your employees
Hmm.
where they go in and share the content from the page. And I've seen a company do this really well recently called Anderson Material Handling. And what they've done is they've got the salespeople going in and sharing Tech Tuesday. So they go in and share a selfie with the techs. So it
Hmm.
gives the employees some appreciation, and it shows humanity of the company, and it really grows their organic reach on those
Hmm.
posts. So there are things you can do on LinkedIn that are a lot easier than the other channels, right?
I think another thing on LinkedIn too that's really fun, and it matters on other channels, but not as much on LinkedIn from what we've seen, is comments. By getting
Hmm.
like a lot of comments in your LinkedIn content, it can really start to push it out to more people, because then if I comment on Lori's post on LinkedIn, a lot of people that I'm connected with then on LinkedIn will see
Hmm.
Lori's post because they're connected to me and I commented on it. And a really good example of that is a relatively new client to us. They are a young professionals networking group that's kind of a sub branch of a larger networking organization, specific to certain industries. And pretty quickly after we launched that effort, you hear about that and think like, it might take a bit of time to grow something like that. we pretty quickly built a bit of a following on LinkedIn simply
Mhm.
because the people that we work with were really engaged. And when we told them, if we want to build this up quickly, go ahead and comment, tag other people that show up to your events, get senior
Mhm.
leadership and board members of the overarching organization to comment, to show it to their networks, and it worked, and they're still engaged, and they stay commenting, and you get
Mhm.
larger, like bigger names in the industry sharing our stuff, and it's been really cool to see that because we're not really heavily doing much besides organic content for them. And
Yeah.
so to watch their following, because in my opinion, Lori, let me know if you agree. I think one of the hardest things on social to do is grow an audience from scratch, create a brand new page
It's
and create a
yeah.
brand new following kind of out of thin air. And
Mhm.
we're continuing to grow. Of course, you never want to stop that growth, but in just a couple of months, by in indicating to them the importance of commenting and sharing the content, we've built a pretty quick and fast and engaged audience over there.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, that is a really interesting client because it's difficult to find the content that's just perfect for them,
Mhm.
that gets the attention of the people either trying to get into the industry or the young people that are in it now that they want to retain,
Yeah.
because they, just like most industries, you've got to draw the young employees to keep the industry healthy.
Right.
And it's not easy, but social it's another thing that social media can help with. It's
Exactly.
working, so yeah, so you want to do that when you can. So anything else we want to say about organic content?
I think it might be pretty important to talk about why you can't only rely on organic content. We've talked about
Yeah.
how significant ads are, um, but I think going back to that follower growth, and when you have a specific thing that you need results for, how important
Mhm.
those ads are. So, organic content. How do we feel about it? What are we seeing? We're seeing that building that like landing base, that foundation for your page is really important, but we're also seeing that it can't be the only source of content that you run
Yeah.
if you want to increase your follower count. If you are a nonprofit and you need fundraiser organizers or attendees or donors or volunteers, or if you are, a dental practice and you need qualified leads, relying on organic content isn't going to get you there. It's just
No.
not. It's
No,
gonna
no,
it's
no.
gonna
It
get
will
put
not.
out to a lot of your current followers, which, depending on your industry, most often is people that have kind of already gotten what they need from you, right? So you're
Yeah.
not reaching anybody new.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And it has a halo effect on the rest of your content.
Yeah.
When you're paying for ad spend, and I'll go as far as to say this, if you are an advertiser on Facebook, you can actually get them on the phone.
Mhm.
We had a client that they do everything organic, and I'm sure they get some results, but
Mhm.
we handle the offices that don't do organic. So we do 2 of their brands, we do social media for them. And they got locked out of their main Facebook account. And because they weren't an advertiser, there was nowhere for them to go.
Right.
As an advertiser, you can figure out how to go into the back end and actually get a human being
Mhm.
and have them call you. So there's another reason that you wanna be, on Meta anyway.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit more pull when you need to talk to somebody, and just the ability to talk to somebody when something goes wrong is really important. So
Mhm.
I would recommend even just a little ad spend. $250 can make a difference.
Yeah.
$2,000 can make a world of difference. With $2,000 a month, you can have hundreds of thousands of people see your content.
Yeah.
With 250, you can have thousands of people see your content depending on,
Exactly. I
what it
think
is. So,
I think that's something that scares people away from ads, is that they think they need to have this massive budget to see results or for it
yeah.
to be worth it. And that's just not true. There are a
Mm-mm.
handful of clients for us, one of the clients that I work on their ads, they're $10 a day. I mean, think about
Mhm.
that's $365 a year. That's,
Mhm.
to a lot of brands, that's not really that much. And sure, we've worked with the clients before that are, giving us $4,000 a month to spend. And is there a difference in the results? For sure. But even that $10 a day budget, I know Lori, I think it was on LinkedIn you worked with one that was even less than that, and you still
Mhm.
see results. So it's
Yeah.
whatever you have to throw at it, try it. And I mean, I would really, really, really implore brands to give it a try, because I don't think if you're doing it right, or if your team is doing it right, that you'll be disappointed with the results that you see at all.
Yeah. No, you will not.
Yeah.
You will not. Yeah, and it's really interesting. Of course, we're the experts, so we're happy to help you with that. Meta's back end is a dumpster fire. You'll hear
It
us say that all the
absolutely
time.
is.
It's a dumpster fire, but it's our dumpster fire, and we know how to navigate around it. So if you need
Exactly.
help, get in touch. So that's what we have for you today around organic content. We could talk social media day or and night, all 24/7, but we will let you go back to your world. And we'll be back again in about a week with another episode. But in the meantime, we have a website at popspeeddigital.com if you'd like to know more about us. And Kylie and I are both open networkers on LinkedIn. So hit us up there if you would like to hear more about what we do as a company, or how you can connect to us. Please feel free to reach out to us there as well. So we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye, everybody.